Hello, my name is Sean Tobin, and I'm the Assistant Referee-in-Chief of Hockey Eastern Ontario. I'd like to thank you for taking a few minutes to join us as we talk a little bit about this exciting initiative we have for the officiating program within HEO. It's called the Green Armband Initiative, and over the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what the initiative is, why it's so important that we do this, and what are the next steps. So what I'd like to do to start is just show you a presentation that we've put together that talks a little bit about the initiative. So the initiative is designed to reduce harassment and abuse of minor officials within HEO. I'm going to chat a little bit about the history of the initiative, the objectives, what we're going to be doing specifically in HEO, why we're doing this, and how this will affect supplementary discipline changes as well as next steps. So the Green Armband Initiative originally started in Montreal for hockey in January of 2020. It was used in Montreal and Quebec City as a way to identify officials under the age of 18 who are officiating games within that region. It actually was taken from a program used in Quebec for baseball, as well as other programs across the country in other sports like basketball as well. So the objectives of the program are actually twofold. Number one, to reduce harassment and abuse of younger on-ice officials by clearly identifying them as minors to coaches, parents, players, and league officials, and to educate coaches, parents, players, and league officials about the challenges that officials face with respect to harassment and abuse while officiating minor hockey games. We want this program to be largely an educational campaign so that we can help educate folks about some of the challenges that our younger officials in particular face while they're doing minor hockey games. So what exactly is the Green Armband Initiative? Well, beginning in the 2021-2022 season, all officials below the age of 18 will wear one green armband on their left arm during all games to identify them as minor officials to team officials, spectators, and parents. Supplementary discipline for team officials targeting green armband wearing officials will be doubled. And we want to use this education campaign as a way to promote the initiative and raise awareness about harassment and abuse of officials across HEO. In fact, when we first designed the initiative several months ago, several media outlets, including CBC, Global Television, and CTV, all did stories about the initiative. And we expect that they'll probably want to follow up with us at some point in the fall or the winter of this year as well. So what exactly is the Green Armband? Well, it's one of these. So all officials under the age of 18 will wear this green armband on their left arm, just one on their left arm. If they're refereeing a game with the red armbands, as can be seen behind me there, they will wear still the one green armband over the red armband on their arm. The only significance of the green armband is to identify that official as being under the age of 18. It is not a question of their skill or their ability or that they're in training or anything like that. Officials up to and including those that referee junior hockey who are under the age of 18 will wear this green armband to identify them as a minor under the law. So why are we doing this? Well, first and foremost, it is the right thing to do to protect the psychological and physical safety of minor officials. Hockey Canada is putting an emphasis this year on maltreatment, which includes issues like discrimination, abuse, harassment, whether it be psychological harassment, sexual abuse, these kinds of issues. So we all have to do our part in addressing these issues. Like many branches across Canada, recruitment and retention of officials continues to be a challenge, particularly in some of our smaller communities. Over 40% of all HEO officials are currently under the age of 18 and work a large portion of all minor hockey games in the branch. We did some interesting stats over the last 10 years this winter, and we found out that 1 out of every 3 of our officials quit after their first season. Over half of these officials quit after 2 years, and 65% of these officials are no longer with us after 3 years. Now, while abuse and harassment is not the reason for all of these officials giving up officiating, there can be a variety of other reasons, including going to university, finding a different job, et cetera, et cetera. We do know that abuse and harassment does play a role in some of these officials quitting. And so this is something that we feel we need to change, but we can't do this within the officiating program on our own. This needs to be a collective effort within the hockey community. With respect to supplementary discipline, we will see some changes. We'll see increased supplementary discipline for certain infractions in games involving officials wearing green armbands. However, it's important to note that this increased supplementary discipline would only apply in cases of team officials and not to players. The rationale for this was that players and officials at the minor level, where most officials under the age of 18 officiate, are often close in age. And so there is already disciplinary action in place for certain infractions like game misconducts, gross misconducts, and match penalties. What we really wanted to target with this initiative was adults, who are most often team officials, who harass or abuse officials under the age of 18. And that's why the supplementary discipline will apply in those cases. So infractions include things like harassment of officials, taunts, discriminatory comments on the basis of race, gender, sexual orientation, travesty of the game, or match penalty for threatening, intentional contact, or deliberately striking an official. You will note that the rule reference has changed. This year, beginning in 2021-2022 hockey season, Hockey Canada has introduced Section 11 of the rulebook under maltreatment. Hockey Canada and Hockey Eastern Ontario are really trying to put an emphasis on reducing and eliminating maltreatment from our game, not just from officials with players or officials with coaches, just within our game in general. And it's all of our responsibility to change that hockey culture. Minimum suspensions for those committing infractions against or toward green armband officials will double. So for those team officials who receive a game misconduct where they would normally receive a 2-game suspension, will actually receive a 4-game suspension if the person targeted is an official wearing a green armband. More on that in a second. Officials will have also been advised to select the GA, standing for Green Armband, option next to these penalties in TTM, as well as to indicate the same on the game sheet, so it is clear what penalty is being assessed. This is also important for team managers or other team officials who enter that information into TTM as well. This information will be available on the new TTM beginning in 2021-2022 season. We want to explain a little bit how this actually works. For all infractions identified above, if the official being targeted is wearing the green armband, the increased supplementary discipline should be assessed regardless of which official on the ice makes the call. The official being targeted or another green armband official or a more senior official. So, for example, in a case where you have a coach or a team official who is assessed a game misconduct penalty, and they are targeting official like me, who is over the age of 18, regardless of if I give the penalty or if another official gives the penalty who happens to be wearing a green armband, the supplementary discipline does not apply because I am the target and I am someone over the age of 18. Now, it's important to note that we want to reduce that behavior as well, but it doesn't require supplementary discipline. There are already disciplinary actions in place within HEO to address that type of behavior. However, if the official that is being targeted is wearing the green armband, then the supplementary discipline would apply regardless of who makes that call. So if it's me as a senior official on the ice who is calling that infraction for a coach or team official who is seen to be abusing or harassing a green armband official, the supplementary discipline would apply. Or if the other official making the call, the green armband official, would also be supplementary discipline would apply. So the key is not who makes the call, it's where the action is targeted. If it is targeted at a youth wearing a green armband, then the penalties will be assessed. If it's not, then the penalty would not be assessed. So the rationale for increasing supplementary discipline was pretty straightforward. The objective is to reduce harassment and abuse of officials at all levels, but particularly the most vulnerable. And we feel that this is a way that coaches and team officials who, when emotion gets the better of them in a game, can see that this official is wearing a green armband, that they will reflect, realize that this is a minor, and perhaps will relent in some of the comments or whatever that are directed that way. We recognize that an education campaign is important, but won't address all the problems, which is why supplementary discipline was necessary. And we increased the minimum supplementary discipline for incidents involving young officials. It demonstrates our commitment to eliminate this kind of behavior from the game and recognize the severity of team officials, mostly adults, who abuse or harass minor officials, those who are below the age of 18. The next steps for us is to continue to promote this initiative across the branch through poster campaigns, which you should see in the arena, presentations, media interviews, which I've referenced at the beginning, as means to increase awareness of challenges faced by officials and educate members of the hockey community about how they can help. We also want to respond to any questions about the initiative, including any questions that you might have today. It should be noted that this is not an issue. Harassment and abuse of officials is not an issue for the majority of our coaches, parents, volunteers, association executives, etc., who are very supportive of the officials and the officiating program at large. Even cases where we deal with harassment and abuse of officials, in most cases, it's because something has happened on the ice that has caused that has caused the coach or team official to become upset in the moment. We want to use the green armband as a chance for those folks to reflect on the behavior and curtail that behavior so that we can reduce these types of incidents in the game, retain and attract more officials to our game, and create a longer, more positive experience for those officials. If you have any further questions about the Green Armband Initiative, you can contact John Reed, who's the referee-in-chief of Hockey Eastern Ontario, at jreed@hockeyeasternontario.ca, or you can contact me, Sean Tobin, the assistant referee-in-chief of HEO branch, at ric.heominor@gmail.com. Alternatively, you can speak to your association president, your association referee-in-chief, your district referee-in-chief, or your district chair. I would like to take this opportunity again to thank you for viewing this presentation. We hope we've answered most of your questions. We'd also like to take the opportunity to thank the HEO Board of Directors for the support of the officiating program and the Green Armband Initiative. It is greatly appreciated. If you have any questions or if you just want to leave us a comment, you can do so right here at our Twitter page, or you can simply hashtag us at Green Armband and change the culture. Together, we have a responsibility to change hockey culture to make it more safe, inclusive, fun, and respectful for all participants. Again, thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your evening.